Hello to everyone out there and welcome along again. Look, when it comes to Heroclix, I think in the DC world, my absolute favourite bad guy has always been this guy. I think Darkseid is amazing, and for the longest period of time, this was probably my favourite version of the figure that had been clixed. I absolutely loved the boom tube effect. It was just gorgeous, and it used to be pretty cool to watch him play on the battlefield, but as I said, just as a figure, he looked amazing. Then, of course, the strategy game came along, and when I bought that, this version, you know, I now think is my favorite version. It just looks amazing. The the little effect with the parademon coming out of it just looks incredible, and of course, and then to match that, the quality of the parademons improved a lot over the years. Some of the older versions weren't that great, and then you ended up with great versions like this that again replicate that little teleporting, portal type situation. So you end up with these gorgeous looking figures. Now, of course, that strategy game, I only bought it for the two figures, really, for Darkseid and for Superman. And I thought for the longest time that was going to be the best one. And then, of course, the newest pack comes along, and look what arrived in the mail today. Very excited to get a hold of this one. When you look at the box art itself, it's gorgeous. I mean, it indicates that it's got 3 parademons in there, and reading on the back on the contents, it definitely says 3 parademons, the Apokolips figure, some legacy cards, which is pretty cool, and the legacy card is for this version of Darkseid here, which is fantastic. Some bystanders and some tokens. As I said, gorgeous box art. So what we might do is just quickly rip him open and have a bit of a look at what we get in there. I'll leave that box up. So we've just dropped something. There we go. Drop the cards. Alright, so it looks like the parademons are basically identical. Yeah, they are basically identical to the little LE piece. So now I have 4 of them, which I'm not going to argue with that. They look pretty cool. This is the Apokolips figure, so I'll take his parademons out of the way and chuck. There he is there. It's pretty similar to some of the new ones in the Lantern Legacy packs as well, this disc effect. So if I pop them up side by side, you can get a bit of a comparison. I'm not sure what the dials are like on the new parademons versus the little LE ones. As I said, if you've been watching any of my videos, you know that I'm not really, don't really get to play very much because of where I live. But I do love to collect, and these guys will look gorgeous. All of the tokens, they've all fallen out of my cardboard, which is always handy. Losing them all over the place here. So we've got some tokens that are just, simple. Obviously all pop out off the sheet, which they fell out. So it looks like I've got 3 of those particular tokens. We've ended up with, what do we got here? 4 of the little parademon tokens. Okay, you can see the dial on that. We get 4 of those. Ended up with a Darkseid token there. And who we got here? A Calabac token. Again, pretty cool. So there's six character tokens, and some of these markers that you use. And as I said, I've got 3 of those as well. And the other cool bits in there. What have we got? Open up this packet here. Alright, so we've got the parademon cards themselves. So there he is there. Turning him around. There he is there. They are all identical, so there's no difference between one or the other. Just a card for each particular figure. The other cards in the pack are the Apokolips one, so if you haven't seen that, there he is there. Get my finger out of the way. And there's the back of the card. The artwork on the card's pretty fantastic. And these are the legacy cards. So again, if you haven't seen that, the shiny effect makes this a bit hard to film. There's the Darkseid. Again, that's the legacy to match the figure from the strategy game. There's the back of the card. Get that little reflection out of the way. Hopefully you can get yourself a nice picture. And then there's the Granny Goodness figure. I don't actually have this figure. I'm not sure what set that's from. Maybe I'll have to get it. I don't know. I don't know too much about the particular figure and whether it's good. I'm not sure whether it'll be great in gameplay or not. But legacy cards are always pretty cool. So actually, as I said, that's the little pack. You get 3 of these parademons and the Apokolips one. That makes this guy usable again because of the legacy card, which is very cool because that is, I 100% think that is my favorite version of the dark side figure. Although, as I said before, I do have a bit of a soft spot for this fella as well. And translucent yellow plastic always looks amazing. Super happy to have these guys in my collection. I'm actually trying to get as many of these cool parademons as I can. So now I've got 4. Probably be looking to try and get some more. All right, awesome. Have a great night.